and welcome to the second program of Ghana Police Watch, your weekly flagship series that premiered on Ghana's major TV networks last week. Your responses have been overwhelmingly positive. Thank you so much for watching. Now to some of your text messages. I like it very much, says Susan Holmes, a student in Accra. Bravo, says King Gorazo. This is what I'm talking about, bringing policing to our doorstep. Amina, a teacher in Sunyani, says everybody must watch Ghana Police Watch, especially police officers, to ensure that the transformation program succeeds. Please keep your views coming in. We'd like to hear from you. Go to Ghana Police Watch TV series on Facebook. This evening, we present the second part of our interview with Inspector General of Police, Mr. David Asante-Apietu. In part of the first interview, some viewers have requested a replay. Before that, let's take another look at the documentary that provides insight into the internal workings of Ghana Police Service and the dynamics of structural reform program that aims to transform the Ghana Police Service into a highly professional, world-class service.
Accra, capital city of Ghana. One of its symbolic landmarks is a distinctive post-colonial building, the headquarters of Ghana Police Service. The organization, constitutionally mandated through the Police Council and Police Management Board to combat crime and protect citizens at all times. Ghana Police Service is headed by Inspector General of Police, Mr. David Asante-Apietu, a forensic scientist, drugs and ballistic expert whose distinguished career in the service was brought into the limelight by the successful investigation under his leadership of the serial killings of women in Ghana during the late 1990s. Based on strategic objectives set by the government of Ghana Police Service has launched a transformation program aimed at structural reform of every stratum of the service.
The Ghana Police Service has a very clear vision, that is to become a world-class police organization capable of delivering planned, democratic, protective and peaceful services up to the standards of international best practice. This is where we derive our impetus from. This also requires a new kind of policing, a new police officer.
There are significant factors that inform this.
We cannot downplay the role of the police service in this country, protecting our people and ensuring that we live in peace.
Within the democratic dispensation that we have opted for, key is the maintenance of law and order.
We spoke to one of Ghana's leading security advisors.
This country is going to double its population probably in the next 60 years. Added to that will be expanding unplanned urban spaces. Now that creates particular types of law enforcement, challenges. I think the Ghana Police Service is beginning to respond to some of these challenges.
Police emergency, how may I assist you?
It's when we live in peace that people can go about their duty respectably and also in comfort. It promotes the economy of our country and also promotes tourism.
Ghana is ranked the best place for doing business in West Africa and remains your gateway to accessing the ECOWAS market of over 350 million.
Security is one of the key selling features of attractiveness, or country attractiveness.
People will come into your country when they feel safe. If nobody feels safe, nobody's going to come into your country.
I can tell you right off the bat that for Ghana, one of our biggest selling points, first of all, is the political stability underpinned by a very peaceful, relatively peaceful community. A lot of people are very happy when they come to Ghana. They tell me that, I can walk around everywhere. You don't see crime like you see in other places. You don't see the risk as high as you see in other places. That in itself is a major attraction. Ghana has been seen as the beacon of stability and peace, and we don't take it for granted. It's a major selling point for both investors and for tourists, visitors, and everybody else. So that responsibility is very important. All of us are interested to ensure that it is, actually facilitated in the best possible way.
One of the key drivers for this new transformative vision is expansion of the internet, online business and e-commerce, and the application of new technologies by criminals.
It has become very necessary for us to manage crime with technology.
This necessitates a strategically different approach to tackling crime.
It becomes very, very important for us to transform the Ghana Police Service.
Revamping the Criminal Investigations Department, headed by Mrs. Mamiya Tiwa Adodankwa, is critical to giving a sharper focus to combating crime. Every police station in Ghana has a criminal investigations unit.
One of our core mandates is crime prevention, and we also gather information, process them into intelligence, and then feed the operations unit.
Currently, documentation at police stations is predominantly manual. This is about to change to electronic processing.
When somebody walks to the police station and makes a complaint, whatever that the person takes, you write your statement and then it is scanned and stored digitally. And in 3 months' time, you come back and you want to find out the status. Instead of going to pick a file and check the dates and other things, just by pressing a button, maybe with your date of birth or some unique identification, we're able to tell when the case was reported, where we have gone to, the status of investigation, and the way forward intended action. I can sit in my office and I can know the cases that have been reported at East Legon for the day, how each of them is being investigated, who is investigated what, and whether they are on the right direction.
E-policing. Currently, 21 police stations are being piloted. Criminal checks by manual fingerprinting is another area to be transformed by technology.
You just put your finger on the machine, take the fingerprint and run through the system. Within a minute, the report comes whether you have a record or you don't have a record. The transformation agenda is coming as a savior for those of us at the criminal investigation department. It is good news for us, and we hope that it can help us to improve our service to the good people of Ghana.
With the rise in cybercrime, the CID is also increasing its capacity to handle the increased complaints. This young lady was lured to an isolated location outside Accra, robbed and sexually molested. It's dusk. The police patrol car battles through Accra's traffic in response to another emergency. Significantly, this has been backed by improved intelligence. These are the police officers who risk their lives daily in the line of duty. The kidnapping is in progress. Police mobile unit is ready to respond.
Hello?
Bravo 911.
Combat readiness is now backed by improved intelligence.
Drop it! Drop your weapons now!
Soon, the kidnapping is over and the culprits are in the arms of the law. Kumasi, capital of Ashanti region. In the past, crime rates have been soaring, but recently, the police response has been impressive.
Supervision too has been very, very good. We ensure that we supervise the men and then we brief them to be professional in whatever they are doing. That has been our success story.
The police has deployed motorcyclists, rapid mobile units, and traffic spot checks to bring down the crime rates. Significantly, this has been backed by improved intelligence. Afrikiko Junction, Accra, Tema Motorway. Apollo in the Western region. The police is watching you. Over 1,000 of these cameras have been installed at strategic locations across the country. These cameras have made police surveillance more effective and given a boost to fighting crime. Playbacks have also been very useful. In this particular case, investigation into a road accident.
Good morning, police emergency. How may I assist you?
These cameras are operated from emergency command centers in Accra, Kumasi, and Tamale that are now receiving a record number of calls.
When the call comes in, the system automatically generates a case form.
The case form is meant to solicit the essential information required from the caller. If it is a motor accident, are there any persons injured? If it is a robbery, are the robbers armed? And so on. All calls can be traced to where they are made. In case a call drops, the operator can call back. Once a call is processed, the information is sent to the dispatch section for patrol teams in the field. One challenge are prank calls that divert attention from real emergencies.
Prank calls must stop. In a genuine emergency, you may not be able to access our emergency command center.
Locating crime scenes promptly is another. Many houses and dwellings in Ghana are located on unnamed streets. This is being addressed by the new GPS address system, which is an integral part of the new emergency response system.
This command center is a milestone along the way of the transformational agenda that the Ghana Police Service has launched. The Ghana Police Service, as I speak to you, is about total number strength of 33,000. For the population of Ghana, the minimum strength should have been 56,000. At 33,000, the police to civilian ratio is 1:848, which is far lower than the UN minimum of 1:500. Therefore, the result to the digital intervention is meant to ameliorate or to mitigate the defect or deficiency or the deficit, which stands at 23,000 police personnel. This intervention, which is going to make it easier for the police to monitor crime and make it easier for people in need to get in touch, therefore making it more efficient for them to check crime, it's a welcome intervention.
Ghana Police Service has a long history dating back to the mid-19th century.
Before the Europeans arrived in the country, the chiefs were having the executive and judicial power. They employed the services of messengers, who in local parlance we call the Ahimfie police. When the Europeans arrived, the situation changed. In 1943, when Lieutenant Governor Hill arrived, he inherited 129 men who were called Gold Coast Corps and 62 men who were known as militia. He merged the two groups known as the Gold Coast Corps.
1947, the Gold Coast Police Band visits London and by all accounts makes a huge impression.
These 35 lucky Africans were given a tremendous reception wherever they went.
The service has a range of departments that work together to deliver a number of services to the public, including the Motor Transport and Traffic Department.
The MTTD is the eye of the police service. We are always in contact with the public. We control traffic and manage traffic. We investigate accidents. Also do presidential protocol escort for VVIPs.
The Police Academy. The Human Resource Department.
Our main responsibility is recruitment of personnel into the service at all levels, training of personnel after recruitment, and then also capacity building for the personnel who are already in the service. For the recruit training at the basic level, we have 5 training schools in the country. We have one in Accra, which is our biggest training school and the oldest, and which for many years used to be the only training school. Then we have a training school in Kumasi, another one in Koforidua, and one in Ho, and we have Police Public Safety Training School in Kwalugu, and that school also trains recruits. We also have officers who need some specialized training. For instance, if you come out from the basic training and you have to go to CID, you need to be given training as a detective. So we have a detective training school. So personnel who will eventually end up in the CID are sent there to be trained as detectives. And these are people who are already in the service. We also have specialized units like the Special Weapons and Tactics SWAT. We have the Form Police Unit,
National Patrol Department, and the Police Hospital.
It was to take care of the police personnel, but along the line, other security personnel under the Ministry of Interior came in, like the prison service, the fire service, immigration, the customs. We also take care of the civilians. Yes.
Welcome to another discussion segment of Ghana Police Watch. And once again, we're happy to have with us again the Inspector General of Police, David Asante Epietu. We had him previously and he's been generous enough to join us again. Thank you for making time to join us one more time.
Thank you for having me, Israel.
We've talked about a lot of training as part of the transformation agenda, but the police officer can have all the training, but if they don't feel motivated enough, or if you don't think that their welfare is being catered to, you're not going to get the best out of them. How is that also being handled?
If the police officer is not motivated, definitely the temptation is that you are going to be corrupted one way or the other. Motivation is very important. The welfare. Where does the police officer sleep? Where does he sleep? We do not know perhaps where he's coming from to the office. You know, it's very, very important.
How are we protecting them?
Yes.
And do they have bulletproof vests, for instance?
Officer safety is very, very important. And that is why it comes first on the 5 themes that we have assigned to in the transformation agenda. That the officer welfare, he must have a protective gear to protect himself. You know, bulletproof, for example, if you're on a motorbike, you must be like a police station. You have your handset, you have your pistol, and you're able to communicate and even video the scene, and in real time it goes to the command center. This is the kind of police officer we want to see in Ghana, so that we can be among the top 10 police organizations in the world.
Are there any police officers at all who have, phones or, can video a scene and it goes directly to the...
We have. There are not many, but we have. We have other handsets that you cannot video, but you can just speak to the command center. Some of the sets, we are able to locate where you are, because it has some GPS embedded in it. So on the monitor, we can know where you are speaking from.
Recently, we had a command center launched. How is this command center helping to fight crime or helping your work?
Right. In the past, we did not have the screens and the cameras that will enable us view places in real time. But now, we have giant monitors in our operation rooms so that we are able to view what is happening at different places depending on the number of cameras that we have. Currently, we have these command centers, properly equipped, state-of-the-art. Cameras have been positioned at certain strategic locations in the country. We have a little over 1,000 in the whole country.
That's a lot.
No, at all.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
You want more?
We will need about maybe 5,000 in Accra.
Wow.
Yes. We need about 5,000 in Accra so that the place is covered. In that case, if we do not have one policeman to 500 of the populace,
it compensates.
Exactly, it does. What is good about it is that you can also purchase your own IP camera, and then we can connect you to the command center.
Explain that again.
Okay. If you are linked with the command center, we may not be monitoring your house 24 hours. But if something happens and you give us a call, we are able to switch to your address and see what's happening.
But then again, I believe that that same camera can have an eye on the community, essentially.
Well, we don't know where you position the camera. But if we have many cameras, even when the offense had been committed without us watching, we can play it back. We can play it back to know what actually happened because you are linked to the command center. In fact, we have a huge database that can store these footage for as long as we want.
Okay.
So it is going to enable us, police the country effectively. But we haven't come to the private ownership of these IP cameras yet. But we are going gradually.
That's something you're looking at?
Yes, we are looking at.
In the near future. And then again, there's also the control room, which...
Yes, the call centers.
The call centers.
Now, the call center that takes care of Central Region, Tema, and Volta Region. In fact, Western is controlled by Ashanti Region. Receives almost 4,000 calls in a day.
What's accounting for the huge jump?
Yes, because you won't be in the queue for long. Somebody picks a call.
So people feel encouraged to call now.
Yes. Perhaps we had the same number calling, but they do not get through.
They didn't get through. But then again, I would want to understand that there are people, prank calls, people who are just calling.
Right. The system is such that if you decide to make prank calls, maybe 1, 2, you'll be blacklisted.
It works that way.
Oh, it works that way. So it's an advice to the public that don't do prank calls. Otherwise, in time,
when you really need,
yes, you will not be spoken to.
Because the system would have blacklisted.
Exactly.
I also know that the police service actually also offers some security services to diplomatic missions and some corporate organizations and all that. Are they also going to see a change in the way you deal with them?
All right. Yes. As part of the transformation agenda, we are creating a directorate that will be solely responsible for protection services for the financial institutions, the parliament, and the diplomatic corps. So that for a diplomat, for example, makes a complaint or he is involved in an accident or something, this unit will be the unit, that is the diplomatic protection unit, will be the unit responsible for the diplomats. And they are also going to send out security guards to their premises and then the offices of these diplomats.
There are a lot of these private security organizations also in the system. do you foresee a situation where you would have this, your service that you're talking about, the protection service, that functions so well that we wouldn't need so many of these private security organizations? So people will come to you rather than go to these private security organizations.
We have a core mandate, including providing the security for facilities that I have mentioned earlier. As part of the transformation agenda, we have created a directorate solely responsible for the private security organizations.
Are you convinced about the work they're doing?
We are streamlining their activities. One, now you will not see, we've given them a year, you will not see too many different uniforms again being worn by private security organizations. And we have done that in collaboration with the Association of the Private Security Organizations. So now we've all agreed on the kind of uniforms they are going to use. You agree with me, some of them you are unable to identify whether they are police officers or the military, and so we have given them a prescribed uniform. So they are going to be identified either by the lanyard or the crest that they will be wearing. Mind you, they are also a good source of intelligence. As part of the collaboration and the cooperation with them, they have coordinators or liaison officers who will also have to work closely with the police.
Now, all of this would require quite a bit of funding. How is the police positioning itself, or what other ways? Definitely the central government cannot provide all the money you need or the resources you need.
Okay.
Are there other ways you can come up with to, source alternative funding?
In the transformation program, we also identified what you just said. Where do we get the money for all that we are talking about? So we are also creating the Private Sector Advisory Board. And as part of their mandate, they are going to help the police or enable a source for funding from the private sector. We have some people already spoken to them, and very soon we're going to do the launching of the Private Sector Advisory Board for the Ghana Police Service.
All the transformation agenda that you're talking about would look really good if you can have children readily approach or easily approach the police officer. How are you working that out?
That is very, very important, because it also forms part of the UN Strategic Development Goals. And we've been fortunate to have UNICEF collaborating with us in training our officers in child-friendly policing. They've covered a huge part of the country. And now there's a manual. So any police officer who goes to the training depot will be taught child-friendly policing.
The policing itself.
Yes.
How is that also being worked on?
Right. We've been lucky to partner with a project being sponsored by the European Union, and it is called ARAP. Accountability, Rule of Law, and Anti-Corruption. It has been very, very beneficial to the Ghana Police Service. It has given us a new scope that if we concentrate on the inspectorate level, we will reduce some of these misconducts, and then they are also able to handle some of these cases at their level and not to burden the PIP's office with too many cases.
Are you saying that we're nabbing or punishing officers who have found themselves maybe taking a bribe here or two?
The positive signs can be seen in the inspectors who are now trying to do what they have been taught by advising and then supervising the officers below them. But we believe that over time we will see the positive results in this. However, PIPs are still there to discipline or to take disciplinary action against those who misconduct themselves. And when they are found culpable, they are given the penalty. You are other sanctions, and it affects your promotion, and sometimes you are dismissed.
Now, one other area that the police interfaces a lot with the public has to do with the motor transport and traffic department of the Ghana Police Service. Are you reforming that area as well? You talked about that.
We know that a lot of these bad reports comes from, it emanates from the conduct of our police officers in the streets, particularly the MTTD. So it's on course. We are doing a rebranding of our MTTD personnel. And the rebranding here means that we are doing internal recruitment. You have to be interviewed and see whether you qualify to be an MTTD official. After that, you are given some training. And after the training, you are given a certificate, which it's a certification that you can be an MTTD officer. We started here in Accra. We had 660 personnel who were trained in batches at the police depot, and they have come out.
Is the training they're getting any different from what they've always gotten? Because if you're transforming, then there should be a change.
In the past, due to constraints, financial constraints, budget constraints, we are unable to do a lot of training and retraining and retraining. That is very, very important to make us more professional and efficient. Now, what we gave them this time around is a kind of leadership training so that they can lead themselves when they are there. Nobody should come to tell you to do the right thing, but you are able to do the right thing and do it. So I believe this is the difference. And then also training them and sensitizing them on the transformation agenda, that we cannot be the same all the time. We must change.
Essentially trying to change their psyche to see things differently and buy into your transformation agenda. Now, another aspect of your work has to do with criminal investigations, which really was your field. What sort of transformation is taking place there too?
Before you become a detective, you should have gone through the detective training school. Of course, at the training school, you are taught some skills in crime detection. But for you to become a CID officer, you need to have been trained as a detective in the detective training school. We have many detectives who have not undergone this training. So this is an area, the training of officers to become detectives. So when we say we are revamping the CID, this is what we really mean. Apart from that, the president did announce the creation of a cybersecurity center and then providing the set skills for detectives or the CID. But we've now acquired a room for this cybersecurity center, so their work will be solely on cyber crimes. Now, at the police headquarters, crime detection is now science. If you don't apply science to crime detection, your cases will always be thrown out in court because you do not have the scientific basis to make those allegations. So the forensic lab is an area where they must be resourced. They must be trained, first and foremost. The equipment we have, sadly, consumables are difficult to come by. So
when you're talking about consumables,
yes, consumables,
gloves, and
yes, they do use a lot of chemicals in the forensic lab. If you are doing drug analysis, for example, I will just give an example of the basic test like TLC. You will need chemicals.
If you say TLC, for most people, you mean standard loving care.
Thin layer chromatography.
Okay.
DNA consumables are very, very expensive. And in our case, we do not charge for any test done. So these are the areas, but the main thing is to train the detective from the crime scene to the court. The processes should be at his fingertips. And then the integrity of Elizabeth and then himself as well, to ensure the integrity of Elizabeth. That is the chain of custody. Yeah.
So there's a lot going on
yes.
In the Ghana Police Service, and I'm sure 2018 holds a major promise for you. What would be your message to Ghanaians?
Let me start by giving a message to my own police officers that the 2018 will be a year of professionalism and integrity. We should give the friendly face of the Ghana Police Service to the public. We should learn how to say please and thank you and all that. I will want to lead a service with that kind of face, and I hope that all officers will join me, in portraying the good image of the Ghana Police Service, particularly the friendly image of the Ghana Police Service. Now, to the public, we need their support. It is something that we've been lacking over the period. Though we have been mandated to maintain law and order, this is a shared responsibility. We will require the public to enable us do work, maintain law and order by way of volunteering information, because the criminals don't live elsewhere. They live in our communities and we know them. And so this is the message that I would like to give to Ghanaians.
The central government has been supportive by providing you some vehicles. They provided a number of pickups and motorbikes. I believe that goes a long way to support what you're doing.
Right, that's very true. We are so thankful for what the government did, especially getting to the end of the year by giving the police service about 100 vehicles and almost 300 motorbikes. These are signs of better days to come.
Okay.
We're hoping that in the year 2018, the government already has promised us with 13 goals that they want to accomplish. And with these signs, we are hoping that more of those are going to happen, and we will see a different police organization in the 2018.
Thank you very much, Inspector General of Police, David Asante-Pietu, for making time to share with us your vision for the Ghana Police Service.
45 drivers have been fined a total of 25,710 cedis by the Motor Court in Accra for unauthorized use of sirens. According to the law, only 6 categories of vehicles or institutions are allowed to use sirens, as this animation video illustrates.
Stop! Are you qualified to use the siren? Stop! Are you qualified to use the siren? Do you know that using a siren is regulated by law? Not every vehicle is qualified to use a siren on our roads. The road traffic regulation allows only certain classes of vehicles to use sirens. These include vehicles used for official purposes by the President, a police vehicle and those used by other recognized government security agencies, a motor vehicle used by the fire service, an ambulance used by a hospital or clinic, and a bullion vehicle registered by the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA. Know that it is an offense to fit and use a siren on your vehicle if you are not licensed to do so. You will be fined if you break the law. Remember, only qualified vehicles should use the siren.
Preventing crime is key. Here are some security tips that you'll find most helpful. If you are operating a business that involves handling cash, avoid routines such as banking, bulk cash deposits and withdrawals. You can contact the police for assistance. Mobile money vendors are advised to carefully choose their locations where they operate and consider security as a top priority. Never keep huge sums of money, jewelry, and other important documents at home. Send them to the bank for safekeeping. Children are one of our nation's most precious assets, and Ghana Police Service acknowledges this. In February 2018, a 2-day child-friendly policing course was organized for police personnel across the country. The course, which is integrated as part of courses to be studied in police training school, is to equip personnel with the necessary skills in handling children who are in conflict with the law or children who break the law. And now, a story that will touch your heart. She was lost, but luckily she has been found. She cannot speak, so we don't know her name or her parents. If you recognize her or know her parents or relatives, please contact the police on emergency lines 191 and 18555.
To you watching us out there, thank you very much for staying tuned. Now you can go to our Facebook, our social media platforms, and give us information, give us feedback about what you think of the show. And as you heard the IGP also say, volunteer information. The police wants to work with you, the public. They want to transform the police service, make it more public friendly, but they would need you, your support, to make it happen.